You may not get along with your siblings, but they're probably better than the siblings in the folktale from France that I'm about to tell you called Goldfeather. It's brutal and disgusting, but has a badass woman who won't put up with crap, and a hero you're glad to see get what he gets in the end. A boy is the youngest child in a very large poor family, and the others put out his eyes so that he had to go be a beggar and they could collect the money he was given. Great start. As he gets older, probably because he's not getting as much money because he's not cute and young anymore, they decide they're just going to get rid of him. So what do? They just abandon him in a forest, and it takes him a while to figure out, like, oh, those are trees. My brothers and sisters have abandoned me. Crap. He climbs up in a tree, and then 3 giants come and eat their supper underneath him. This part's really gross. The lad needed to pee, and so he did. It fell in the giant's dish, and one of them exclaimed, "Oh, how good the Lord is! He sends us vinegar." A little later, the lad needed to shit, and he did. It fell in the giant's dish, and he said, "The Lord sends us mustard." Bathroom humor never changes. They find the boy, and they're like, "What's up with you?" And he's like, "My family put out my eyes and abandoned me," and they feel bad for him. So they're like, "We're gonna give you 3 wishes. The first is that you have eyes again and you can see." And he does. And the second one is you'll meet a mule on your way to wherever you're going. And then the third one is that he would find Goldfeather. He goes on his way, he finds the mule, which talks, and as he's riding him, he sees this gold feather, and the mule's like, "I don't know if you should pick that up," but the spell from the giants compels him to. He goes to a new kingdom, gets hired as a cowman for the king. He's so charming and likable that the king loves him, and soon the other courtiers start to get, like, jealous of him. Well, that king has kidnapped the queen of another country, which we later find out is England. He kept her prisoner in his castle, but could not manage to make himself liked by her. He often begged her to accept him as a husband, but she always refused. I wonder why. He keeps begging, and finally she's like, "All right, I'll marry you if you can get my castle from England to sit right next to your castle." And he's like, "I'll build one just like it." She's like, No, it has to be that castle." Well, all the courtiers who want Goldfeather, which is what our main protagonist's name is now, because he's got the cool gold feather, they want to get rid of him, so they go tell the king, "Hey, he's been saying he can do the castle thing." And so the king's like, "You have to go or you'll die." And Goldfeather's like, "Oh shoot." It's a good thing he's got the mule, who says to him, "It's cool, get 4 ships filled with bulls, cows, and sheep and sail by the giants' land." He does. The giants come out and just devour all of the animals, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for that meal. What would you like us to do for you?" And he's like, "Hey, pick up this castle in England and put it next to this castle in France." And they do. Then the queen's like, "Okay, well, I need my exact keys to my old castle, but I threw them in the ocean after you took me prisoner, and so you're gonna have to get them out of the ocean, and then I'll marry you." The mule tells the boy to go out with 4 ships and take tons of bread, and he feeds the fish all of this bread. They go down, they find the keys, they bring them to him, he brings them back to the king. But surprise, she still doesn't want to marry him. He just can't figure out why, and then he decides, well, it must be because Goldfeather looks really good in her eyes because he's accomplished all of these tasks. Goldfeather's the problem, so I'm gonna burn him. Of course, the mule is going to come to his aid again. She, because the mule is a girl, tells the boy to get like fabric that's 7 times thicker than normal fabric, put it on the mule, and ride the mule around until it wears completely thin. And he doesn't want to do that. He's like, "That'll hurt you." And the mule's like, "I can take it." Then when they take you to burn you in the pile of sticks, wrap the fabric around you. So he does that. They light the fire, but somehow the magic of this fabric and what they did with it protects him. And he not only doesn't burn, but he gets hotter and hotter, like handsomer and handsomer. Not hotter. Well, I mean, just probably hot. There's a bunch of flames around him. Point is, he doesn't die and he gets more beautiful. So the king is like, "Whoa, how did you survive and get so gorgeous?" And he's like, "I just wrapped myself with fabric." And the king's like, "Well, that must be why she doesn't like me. If I can make myself really gorgeous, she'll like me." So he wraps himself with fabric and sets himself on fire. And I bet you can guess what happens. The king was turned to ashes. The queen is finally rid of him. And since Goldfeather had saved her and was also super hot now, she decided to marry him. And they got married and lived happily ever after. I just like fairy tales where the kidnapped woman holds her ground and does not fall in love with her kidnapper, and that a boy who started out getting mutilated by his family and then craps in giant food ends up with grateful giants and a really awesome mule. That's who I like to see succeed.